Shortly after the death of Renee Good by the ICE agent, the former father-in-law of Renee Good said this, and I'm quoting him: "It is horrible. It's murder. Everyone is terribly shocked right now." Close quote. Well, now he appears to have done a 180. And in preparing for the show, when I found out the father-in-law now says, "I don't blame anybody," which will play you, he was on CNN, I looked to see headlines. Ex-father-in-law of Renee Good reverses himself on characterizing her death as a murder. Nowhere to be found. We looked. My producer looked. And I said, "I know he said it. Can't find it." Well, the article didn't disappear. The point is, the media is not characterizing this as a reversal. Why not? Father-in-law, ex-father-in-law called it a murder. He no longer calls it a murder. He now says, "I'm not blaming anybody." Wouldn't you think the headline would read, "Ex-father-in-law Renee Good reverses position on her death"? Something like that. You won't find that. I wonder why. Because it doesn't advance the media narrative. A media narrative that one journalist actually owned up to and referred to it as essentially a murder to Caroline Levitt. I'm going to have that for you in just a few seconds, so stick around. Here is the former father-in-law on CNN, number 30.
I want to ask you about this. When you talk about the confusion, and you've been open, obviously, about your support for the president, when you look at the videos of what happened, and I'm sure they're very hard for you, Timmy, to watch, if you've even been able to, but the Deputy Attorney General says that the Justice Department doesn't believe that there's evidence to back a criminal investigation, right? And nothing about charges or anything like that, just an investigation into what happened in terms of the ICE agents' actions. But they were, according to the prosecutors resigning today, pressuring them to investigate Renee's actions and Becca, her wife's actions. How do you feel about all that?
Well, I'm not blaming anybody. I mean, it's a hard situation all the way around. It's hard for for everybody involved. I mean, the ICE agent, at first I didn't see the footage where, he was actually, he was actually being ran. I mean, I seen the bump of the car hitting his legs. And so in a flash like that, it's hard to say how you would react. From my understanding that he had been through that before, maybe dragged or something. And so, like I said, it's just a hard situation for everybody. Becca, she's a great person as well. I mean, I don't have any enemies. I love everybody. And that's what the Bible tells us, love our neighbors as we love ourselves. But, I think there's some bad choices. And the word says, "For the wrath of God will come upon the children of disobedience." And it's I don't blame ICE, I don't blame Rebecca, I don't blame Renee. I just wish that if we're walking the Spirit of God, I don't think she would have been there. That's the way I look at it.
Notice that Aaron Burnett, the CNN host, didn't say, "You have now switched your position because initially you called it a murder." Well, I've seen more video now. Oh, so you changed your mind. Didn't say that. Because it doesn't fit the script. The script is the ICE agent, for no reason whatsoever, murdered an innocent woman who was essentially minding her own business, engaging in peaceful protests. And this man referred to it as a murder. I'll read it again. Quote, "It's horrible. It's murder. Everybody is terribly shocked right now," close quote, said the former father-in-law, Timmy Ray Macklin. Now I'm not blaming anybody. I mean, the ICE agent, at first I didn't see the footage. Meaning, on further review, I've changed my mind. And that should be the lead headline everywhere in every article covering this, but it isn't, because it doesn't fit the script. Consider this. number 28.
Renee Good was shot in the head and killed by an ICE agent. How does that equate to them doing everything correctly?
Why was Renee Good unfortunately and tragically killed?
Are you asking me my
Yeah.
opinion? Because an ICE agent acted recklessly and killed her unjustifiably.
Oh, okay. So you're a biased reporter with a left-wing opinion.
What do you want me to do?
Yeah, because you're a left-wing hack. You're not a reporter. You're posing in this room as a journalist, and it's so clear by the premise of your question. And you and the people in the media who have such biases but fake like you're a journalist, you shouldn't even be sitting in that seat. But you're pretending like you're a journalist, but you're a left-wing activist. And the question that you just raised and your answer proves your bias. You should be reporting on the facts. You should be reporting on the cases. Do you have the numbers of how many American citizens were killed at the hands of illegal aliens who ICE is trying to remove from this country? I bet you don't. I bet you didn't even read up on those stories. I bet you never even read about Laken Riley or Jocelyn Nungray or all of the innocent Americans who were killed at the hands of illegal aliens in this country. And the brave men and women of ICE are doing everything in their power to remove those heinous individuals and make our communities safer. And shame on people like you in the media who have a crooked view and have a biased view and pretend like you're a real honest journalist.
Now, two things about this. Again, the former father-in-law who once characterized it as a murder looked at the video and has changed his mind. But this reporter said, quote, because an ICE agent acted recklessly and killed her unjustifiably, close quote. Now, she did ask him his opinion, and he offered it. But if he were a journalist, he should have said, well, I have my own personal opinion, but my job here is to get the facts from you. And here's my question, blah, blah, blah. Instead, he outed himself as already having made an opinion about this, and we're supposed to pretend this is not going to affect how he covers this? By the way, he works for The Hill, which is a publication that covers activities on Capitol Hill, and he's from Northern Ireland. Because an ICE agent acted recklessly and killed her unjustifiably, a position that even the former father-in-law who once called it a murder no longer holds. But this person's supposed to be a reporter, and she teed off on him, understandably so.
For full shows, live and on demand, it's Salem News Channel.